Good Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us for Unscripted here on Up North Live. I always like to pick out the day of the week and what it's really known for. Today, Joe, is International Squirrel Appreciation Day. To acknowledge squirrels' roles in the ecosystem. So
they are big, bury a lot of acorns. I know that.
They do. And this time of the year, they need a larger food supply source. So if you have the ability, fill up some of the, bird feeders with some extra food for the squirrels.
I gotcha. Although there's been times when I've tried to kind of hide the food from the squirrels. Because they kind of get in, but
they do. I know
they're very good at finding food.
They find it, yeah. Especially this time of the year, they're looking. So
interesting. All right, a lot of snow for them to be buried in here lately. It's cold, and the coldest day of the stretch, Melissa, is going to be Friday.
Okay,
we know that. Not that it's going to warm up a lot after that, but that'll be the coldest day, and then we'll kind of claw our way out of that a little bit over the weekend. And with that being the case, we still have lake effect snow in the forecast. So we'll take a look at how much, and again, those temperatures, we'll look at that a little later.
All right, thanks for that, Joe. And sticking with the weather, actually our question of the day, we're starting with that. What temperature do you think is too cold to go outside? Everybody's talking about the weather right now. Check out our Facebook page, Up North Live, and our website, UpNorthLive.com. You can even scan that QR code right there on your screen. We're going to check out those responses to the poll results, and of course, check those out a little bit later in the show. Our top story tonight, though, it's not often that Grand Traverse County commissioners have looks of disbelief on their faces, but that was the case this morning. What they heard during their meeting left many of them with questions and concerns over health care that was an option for many who had no place left to turn, only to see that care come to an abrupt and shocking end. This month, our Up North Live's Mark Gillette has more on how commissioners heard for the first time at least one side of the why.
This is a true tragedy for our community, and it did not need to happen.
But what some described as a tragedy, did happen. And those on the inside say,
it went down really dirty.
It was this.
Over the last 2 years and 3 months that we've been open, we provided for veterans $1,246,298 of free dental care. For total patients in 2 years and 3 months, we provided free dental care valued at $3,766,183.
United We Smile, a dental clinic staffed primarily by one paid dentist and by dental students and rotating volunteer dentists from the community, treating veterans and others for free, some of whom had no place else to turn.
People with what we call specialized healthcare needs, disabilities, intellectual, developmental, neurodevelopmental disabilities that not a lot of dentists are trained to work on.
The clinic shared a building with the United Way, a fiduciary agency needed for the dental practice to qualify for grants and handle financial obligations.
Over the years, money became an issue.
United We Smile shared those issues with county commissioners this morning, claiming the dental clinic's proceeds and donations were being used to cover the expenses of the United Way.
It is not the clinic's responsibility to financially support United Way.
They claimed they were unknowingly paying the entire mortgage for their shared building, and that when the United Way was struggling with expenses, despite being financially independent and self-sustaining, the clinic was requested to make cuts.
They told us, they meaning the board of United Way, told us, meaning this clinic staff only will be getting a 10% pay cut. So this is a solution to becoming more financially stable, was to eliminate positions, give us pay cuts.
Then the announcement from the United Way, January 2nd, United We Smile would be closing its doors. It's a concern for county commissioners because historically the county has helped cover some of the costs associated with treating at least the veterans.
The first year it was $6,000 a month. The second year it was $12,000 a month. And actually every year I came, various members of the commission said, is that enough? Should we give more? What can we do?
That contract now expired. The clinic now closed, and hundreds of county residents left without an option. A situation that didn't sit well with county commissioners, regardless of how they got here. A belief that a solution moving forward needs to be reached.
I'd like to make a motion at this point that the board direct Administrator Alger to work with Mr. Ruth and Mr. Leahy to collaborate on possible options to continue providing the services that United We Smile provided to Grand Traverse County residents and bring them to our board for consideration.
That was Mark Gillette reporting. We did reach out to United Way for comment regarding the closure and the accusations made at this morning's commission meeting. We have not heard back. The next steps from the county standpoint is the formation of that working group to explore possible options for funding mechanism for the United Way Smile and the United We Smile, that is, and the services they provided. In other news today, the need for blood, it is critical year-round, but right now in particular, it's severe. Versity is encouraging communities to be that solution. Now, the weather can be a challenge for blood banks, preventing people from making it to a donation center. Keep in mind, though, blood only lasts 42 days in refrigeration before it's no longer able to be used in transfusions. Versity urging people to reach out and host a blood drive, whether it's a business, a church, whatever they can do to help ease the shortfall. Joining us tonight to talk about the blood drive and why this need is critical is Heather Dixon with Versity Blood Center of Michigan. Heather, thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I want to start with the obvious question here. There's a need. And first of all, who is eligible to donate and how long does it take?
Sure. So anybody 16 and older, 16-year-old donors need parent or guardian permission to donate. And then you just need to be healthy. And you get a mini health questionnaire given to you right when you get there. It takes about an hour, but the actual blood donation part of it, I would say, is under 10 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's all the questions leading up to it, making sure your iron is good, making sure you're feeling well today, all of that. It's like a mini physical, and then they get you in the chair and they get you donating. And then we send you on your way with some snacks and juice and make sure that you feel well.
And why is it critical to donate blood? And especially this time of the year.
Yep. Like you hit earlier, you said 42 days on the shelf. So that blood expires. It's not like Tylenol where it can sit on the shelf for a couple of years. So we're constantly needing donors. And especially this time of year, there's like a shortage because of the flu going through or sickness, weather delays, weather just related things going on, more accidents because people are out skiing or they're on their snowmobiles or things like that. So the shortage comes from not having enough donors who are healthy enough to donate at that time. And then people getting hurt or injured or more surgeries coming up because it's the beginning of the year and people are trying to get that stuff done.
What about an increased need for a certain blood type? Is that an issue right now?
Sure, it always is. So we always encourage our O donors to donate. O negative, everybody can receive O negative blood. So that is the one, if you were to get in a car accident tomorrow and you were on an ambulance and they were giving you blood, that's what they would give you immediately to make sure that you were stable to get to the hospital. But all of our O donors and then our negative blood types are always very high need. But every blood type is needed every day.
And are there any facts, Heather, or stats that you want people to keep in mind when it comes to donating blood?
Sure. I love this one. About 30% of our donor base is our high school students, which is phenomenal.
No
And
kidding.
we are Michigan's primary blood provider. So I like to tell people that because they don't realize how many hospital systems we're really in. We are Munson's primary blood provider. So we work directly with them out of the Traverse City Center. And then we have the Gaylord Center also. And I think that more people just need to know that the blood is coming from your neighbors. It's getting donated in your community blood drives and it's going back to your hospitals. So that's a really fun fact. And then the high school thing is really cool. I just love working with my schools. My students are amazing. I know that all the reps across Michigan feel the same way about that. And then I think the last one is that 1 in 7 people going into the hospital will need blood, but only about 4% of people actually donate. So the numbers don't always add up. So that's why we get into the, urgent need, critical need, high need times and asking people to come in and donate.
Do you recommend to Heather, someone, if they are interested in donating, checking with their physician first? I mean, this is something that, like you said, you can do on the spot. If they would like to come in, they can do a quick questionnaire or a physical.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so they can do that with us. They're more than welcome. If they're having questions about, if they're on medications or travel, they can also call our Versity number and they can talk to somebody who can let them know before they even come in if they're eligible based off of that kind of criteria. And then once they come in, we check blood pressure, temperature, make sure you're feeling well that day because we want your blood to be safe, obviously, to give back to the patients who need it.
Heather, thank you. We appreciate what you do. Thank you for joining us today to talk about this critical need. Again, Heather Dixon with Versity Blood. Keep in mind, you can save up to 3 lives by taking the time to donate just a pint of blood. On January 28th, Up North Live will be hosting the Versity Blood Bus at our Leelanau County studios. You can sign up to donate from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we do have a link to donate, to sign up, that is, by going to our website. Simply check out UpNorthLive.com. Monday night, fire crews battled a fire on 7th Street in Interlochen in Grand Traverse County. Now firefighters say those frigid conditions pose more challenges for fire departments in the area. Being the time of year to drive slow on the roads, the response time, obviously, for those fires is greatly impacted by this weather. So when temperatures reach single digits or even below 0, water sprayed on fires can freeze faster and make the situation even more dangerous for firefighters. In a case of a fire emergency, the Green Lake Township Fire Department, that is, encourages good neighbor behavior.
A couple neighbors had made the initial 911 calls when they saw the flames from the residents, and then just the willingness to help their neighbors. Being a good neighbor is important this time of year, whether it's, a stranded motorist, check on a car in a ditch. Those are people things that we need to remember, that to be good neighbors.
Now, there were no serious injuries in that fire in Interlochen. Also, no word yet on what caused the fire. All right, stay right here. Speaking of weather, we're going to take a look at your weather forecast coming up after the break.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
I'm Jeannie Gatton with the National News Desk in Washington, D.C., and this is your news update. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that.
President Trump is promising not to use force to take over Greenland. At the World Economic Forum today, Trump said he wants immediate negotiations for an acquisition of the Danish territory. He repeatedly told attendees the U.S. is in the best position to control Greenland and criticized most of Europe for being against the idea. Next up, a new move to stop Wall Street from competing with Main Street home buyers. President Trump signing a new executive order aiming to make housing more affordable. The move will limit the ability of large institutional investors to buy single-family homes. The White House says Wall Street investors have purchased houses in many communities, reducing the number of homes available for families. And then there's this.
No witness, not a former president or a private citizen, may willfully defy a duly issued congressional subpoena without consequence. But that is what the Clintons did. And that is why we are here today.
House Republicans started a push to hold former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress today. The moves come after the Clintons refused to appear for depositions in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. And that's your news update.
And the National News Desk can be seen on ABC 29 and 8 on Saturday night and 11:30 and Sundays at midnight. And switching gears now, taking a look at that weather forecast. Frigid temperatures, Joe, and it is going to get colder.
Yeah, it is cold now. Although today was a tad, I don't know if you could feel it really, but it was a little warmer.
A little bit warmer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's 21 right now there in Cadillac, Melissa. But yeah, it is going to get colder. The cold will kind of, I don't want to say peak. When we're talking about cold, I don't want to say peak. It'll bottom out on Friday. And then we'll sort of claw our way back to the teens by the time we get into Sunday. Looking Cadillac, off and on snow there tonight, 21 degrees currently. Our three big things, dangerous cold Friday into Saturday. The wind chill during the day Friday, somewhere in that 20 to 30 below neighborhood. Lake effect snow will continue, although not as much this weekend. I think we get a little break at times. Then a crippling winter storm in the deep south. We're going to have cold and snow here, but the national media, they're going to be talking about that storm down in Georgia and the Carolinas, back through Dallas, Oklahoma. They're talking about maybe record snow and ice potential for those spots. All right, let's run through our advisories issued by the National Weather Service. Winter weather advisories for all the purple counties outlined here until tomorrow at 7 o'clock. This is what's called an extreme cold watch. That kicks in later Thursday, Friday into Saturday morning for bitter wind chills. And then the eastern UP is under a cold weather advisory until Friday at 1 o'clock there. All in all, you get the idea here. We're going to get some lake effect snow, and it's going to be cold. By the way, look where we have the darker shades of purple here working into northern Antrim, Charlevoix counties, Emmett County. A little burst of heavier snowfall there. Kalkaska County, too, this evening. We'll continue to deal with lake effect snow at times through the night. And then the wind will do a little shift tomorrow, more out of the northwest at times. Snow kicks back up tomorrow evening. I mean, this is just kind of the status quo here. Then Friday, cold with lake effect snow. Away from the snow bands, you might see a little sunshine. It's going to be bitterly cold, though. So here's the snowfall forecast, 1 to 3 inches tonight for some spots. Again, this will be more of a lake effect snow scenario. There's Thursday night. There we take you into Friday afternoon. So between now and then, over the next just under 48 hours, maybe pushing 10 more inches there around Boyne Falls, Gaylord, Elmira, and then near north of Newberry, especially up toward Paradise, Whitefish Point. Even Cadillac looking potentially at 7 inches. Temperature-wise, there's tomorrow, cold. There's the really cold day on Friday. I mean, maybe some spots struggling to reach 0. Here's the wind chill coming in. And again, this all dropping out of Canada Thursday night into Friday. And there's the wind chill. This is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We stopped the clock there. And again, 20 to almost 30 below wind chills across northern Michigan. We'll look at that map maybe again in July. Maybe I'll save it and just show you that. So we're on the edge of this big blob of, that's what I call it, a big blob, big vortex, though, of cold air to the north of us. It's going to kind of cycle nearby into next week. So we're not really going to see this leaving anytime soon. And that's reflected in our temperature. Again, the coldest day will be Friday. But after that, we do stay in the teens next week. So no warm up really or a significant warm up on the way anytime soon. Tonight, 6 to 14, passing lake effect snow. Again, a broad 1 to 4 inches, most spots tonight. Tomorrow, scattered lake effect snow, single digits and teens as we head into Thursday. Alpena, 16, 15 there, downtown Mayo. Elk Rapids, 17 toward Kuwait and Bel Air, 17 Torch Lake. And at Clare, 19, 15 at Big Rapids, scattered lake effect snow. We have a weather warning day for the cold on Friday, not that much better on Saturday. With a few snow showers. Not a lot of snow. We could see a little snow in our southern and eastern counties Sunday. That's with the storm system. And then, Melissa, we're in the teens, kind of holding there into early next week.
Yeah, it is winter. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Coming up, Sports Director Harrison Beebe will give us a look at some local nominees for a Scholar Athlete Award and a preview of some games happening tonight. That's coming up next. Welcome back to Unscripted. Sports Director Harrison Beebe joins us now live from the Content Center. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, Melissa. Yeah, just curious, top of your head, do you remember, did you get any scholarships when you went to college?
I applied for them, but I did not get them. I tried.
That's all right. I'm kind of in the same boat. Besides the one class that I think gave you, was it college credit for the high school courses? I had one of those on my resume. But besides that, kind of had to go with what the college cost was going to be. But the cool part of what I'm transitioning to is there's a great scholarship program through the MHSA. They give each kid who wins this a $2,000 scholarship. Now, there are 120 finalists being announced. 32 in the end will receive the scholarship. And these are a list of the finalists from Northern Michigan. They include TC West, Owen Wolfort, Sheboygan's Presley Chamberlain, Big Rapids Cole Heist, Elk Rapids Bryn Schulte, Rudyard's Lillian Kwiatkowski, Charlevoix's Joe Gaffney, and moving along in the list to the next set of finalists, we have Eli Smith from Pine River, Lorna Wyson from Leland, and David Wall from Gaylord St. Mary. So the 9 of them, based on their student-athlete resumes, impressed the committee enough to be finalists, and we'll see if any of them usually we get 1 or 2 winners of the scholarship from our area, so we'll be eager to see which one comes out with that by the end of the winter sports season. Hey, here's what we're looking at tonight. I'm going to hopefully brave the conditions and get to Manton in time to see the Rangers and Roscommon play a great girls basketball game going on in the Highland Conference in just a few minutes. Pistons, Pelicans, they're tipping things off in New Orleans. No Cade Cunningham for that game tonight. He's going to be out with a hip injury. Hopefully that won't be too long of a thing, but Detroit's still looking red hot on the basketball floor, and we know the Red Wings are also looking great in hockey as they're taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs in an original 6 matchup. If you want to look for that one on national TV, that'll be on the TNT sports coverage for the NHL tonight. Always cool to see the Red Wings and Pistons get national TV games. Of course, Melissa, the Pistons had the primetime game on NBC on MLK Day. So
that's right.
It's it's just great to see the Detroit teams back to prominent positions after we had so many years where they were begging for a single national audience.
Yeah, I'll be watching the Wings game, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Thanks, Harrison. Coming up, we're going to take a look at those live results for our question of the day coming up after the break.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
All right, we are taking a look at that question of the day. What do you consider too cold to go outside? Right now, you can see some of the options there on our poll, but taking a look at some of the responses, Jamie's saying anything under 30, I'm probably in the wrong state. I feel you there, Jamie, though. It can get cold. Katie says, when it's not the cold but the wind option, that's my vote. Good point with that. Marianne says, I have a job. I've got to go out regardless of the temperature. I think we can all relate to that one, too. Tammy says, if it's freezing, it's too cold for me. And Caitlin says, I mean, it depends on what you're doing exactly. That's true. If you're going out there enjoying the winter weather, having fun, doing some winter sports, that's always a good way to take advantage of it. And we are close to the end of the show. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Of course, we hope to see you back here for Up North Live News at 11. Until then, have a fabulous night.